Coaching would be so much easier if you didn't have to worry about the part where, you could get clients. My name is Amanda Kaufman, and today we are going to be going through how can you set up your business so that your coaching basically sells itself. If we haven't met before, I'm the founder of the Coaches Plaza, and I help coaches to build a business that they love just as much as they love their coaching. And one of the things that I hear the most is, Amanda, I don't want to have to sell. I don't want to have to post like a maniac to social media. I'm busy. I just want to coach people. And I get it. That's how I started my business too. I just wanted to coach people because, after all, that was like the whole point of starting a coaching business. But I did have to learn how to sell and how to promote. And on the way, I learned a lot of things that actually were a heap of work and didn't work at all. Now, this is where coaches get super confused and I was the same way, because there's just so many options. Like, you can learn how to do Instagram ads, you can learn how to sell through YouTube, you can learn how to do funnels, you can learn how to do webinars, challenges, video sales letters, long form sales letters, low ticket to high ticket. Honestly, the options are endless. So what do you do if the options are endless? You see, the first thing that you really must take care of is just moving past this idea that there's one perfect way. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to really break down 3 big things that you could do, that you could get it down to the level of your calendar where you're taking care of a particular project, getting that done, dusted. I always tell my clients one project until it's done. And that project is going to set you up to have people just ask you for coaching. Like what happened for me this past week, just a random Tuesday in Q4, I get like $17,000 worth of business with them knocking on the door asking for it. I didn't have to beg for it. I didn't have to pitch anything. I didn't have to have urgency and scarcity and crazy guarantees. But that only happens when you have these 3 things set up. So the 3 big moves that change everything are as follows. And you've maybe heard this before, but it's worth repeating. I always say the fun is in the fundamentals. And so fundamentally, if you're defining your unique value proposition, that goes a very long way, because then people understand who you are, that you're for them or not for them, what you do for them. Like, it's unique and you stand out from the sea of sameness that is small business ownership. The second thing we are going to do is we're going to build a magnetic online presence. So it creates this digital presence that 24/7, like whether you're working or not, it's working for you. Like, this very video is an example of curating my social presence online. It's going to do a heck of a lot more work than I'm going to do, apart from actually, the filming and the editing and the uploading. And, when you build a really good system around this stuff, your online presence doesn't have to be icky or hard. Most coaches are honestly doing far too much themselves, especially in a day and age of AI and artificial intelligence. It can help you so much with having a very consistent presence that supports your goals as a coach. And the final thing, and the reason why sales can happen without you feeling like you're always selling, is this thing called the client journey. So when we create a seamless client journey, it's really smooth. People just escalate from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. You can have retention offers, which is like where somebody's going to work with you over the long term. And it's awesome. So you just basically stack your successes one at a time, that you don't have to go beg for business. Honestly, the hardest time is getting your first 5 clients. Once you've got those first 5 clients in the door, it's a lot easier from there. So let's talk a little more about this first move, where you're defining your unique value proposition. So here's the truth that most coaches won't tell you, or they'll tell you, and then there's going to be a lot of confusing people out there that are telling you something opposite. And look, I have the experience of having done a lot of different experiments in my business over the last 9 years, and I definitely tried going, anti-avatar, without having to focus on a particular niche. And that was so hard, because when I was communicating to other people about who I was and what I did and how I was different from other people, it was just word soup. There was just no streamlined experience around it. So people didn't really understand what it was that I actually did. And so if you're marketing to everyone, you end up really truly selling to no one. When people understand exactly who you are to them, then they are empowered to make really great decisions about interacting with you further and hiring you and doing all of that good stuff. It's not about being the best coach. I used to really stress about this, It's about being the only coach for a specific group of people that have particular challenges and you solve it in your particular way. So the idea is that you're a market of one, like you're a category king. You're taking care of that particular segment of the market and no one can do it better than you. All right. So 3 elements of an irresistible value proposition. The first thing is to identify your niche. Now, I will say this until I am blue in the face. Your niche is not your coaching modality. It's not your specialty. Your niche isn't necessarily even the transformation that you offer. It's not actually about you. A niche is a group of people out there that have something in common. So they probably all do want the same change, but they probably are similar in their demographics, like their age, possibly their gender, possibly like whether they live in a city or whether they're more rural, whether they're married with kids, whether they're single, like all of those kinds of things, as well as how they think. So like, what is it that they value? What do they prioritize? What do they get frustrated by? What are their ambitions? What to them means a life well lived? What to them means like not a life well lived? And when you have that clarity, which is again, not about you, it's about finding them. That's how you can build a business using something called niche marketing. Okay, so once you understand who you are serving, what they are like specifically, not with a bunch of vague language, but really specifically, then you can do something called clarifying your USP, your unique selling position. So what makes you truly different? You can look at competitors, and I love this little prompt. Unlike blank, unlike so-and-so, unlike the others who do this thing, I do that thing instead. So, for me, there's a lot of people who coach coaches, and I would say following that similar formula, unlike other coaches that keep you stuck worrying that there's something wrong with you, reliving past childhood traumas and rooting around for some sort of a explanation for why you are where you are, I'm a business coach that helps you marry forward thinking mindset with math so that it's really clear in black and white. What are you doing in your business, and is it working? Is it not working? And keeping you in an emotionally happy place without having to dredge up the past. So I do that very differently than a lot of business coaches do. I think that it's really important you take a look around at the competitors that are all around you and really just embrace your weird. Something my husband Chris and I always say, he works with me in the business too. We always say, like, let your weird light shine and let your other fellow weirdos find you, right? If you don't give anybody anything to work with for what's the weird thing that y'all have in common, then that's why you end up kind of lonely on these internet streets. Okay, the last thing is to craft your compelling message. My word, how many people have I talked to just this week that are telling me, oh, it's going great, Amanda. I'm just working on my message. And I'm like, no, you don't work on your message quietly behind the scenes and wait for this grand artistic reveal. You launch that puppy, you launch your message, and you get it out there. So I really encourage people to get posting on social media, start doing videos, start just like speaking into the camera and seeing where it takes you. And as you get better and better, you can get more and more formal about it. And look, we're living in an age of AI. So I think like people can feel pretty insecure about whether they are using AI as cheating. It's not cheating. It's not cheating. Use it as a thought partner to come up with ideas. Use it to help research what are some of the topics that work the very best in your niche. Use it to draft out your script. Use it to draft out your outline. I speak extemporaneously at this point, and I think that is way more efficient, but I'm always studying. I'm always like coming up with new frameworks and reading different books and listening to other experts. And, I'm constantly growing in that regard. Excuse me. I'm like, this is a little bit more of a live than it is a pre-recorded, super curated thing. But all of that to say, What matters is your presence. And your message is not going to be figured out in a box. It's going to be figured out in front of people. Okay, so the next thing is to build that magnetic online presence. People will watch you from a distance for a long time before they actually engage with you. Some people will choose not to engage with you because they saw your online presence and they were like, I don't think we're going to be a good fit. So yes, you're getting judged, but you're also getting judged as like, ooh, I like this person. I think this person's cool. I love what this person has to say. No matter what you do, you're being judged. So use it as a powerful tool. You want to have your digital presence being like this 24/7 salesperson who's advocating for your brand and advocating for how you help people. And of course, also, I think one thing I really love about it is it allows you to help people who maybe can't afford your services. So rather than depressing your price, you can keep your price exactly where it is, and you can be very generous in the online world with instructions and how-tos and educational content that'll help them move the needle forward. And one day they may be ready to work with you. But in the meantime, people who really want the added touch of working with a coach, they're going to use your content as an evaluation to say like, is this somebody who thinks the way that I would hope that my coach thinks? Is this somebody who's going to have something to add to the conversation, or is this somebody who is going to waste my time? And so I think that that's another big thing. The last thing that I would say on this big move is that you want to definitely in this day and age have a website and pro it up. No ugly websites, right? It doesn't have to be this crazy expensive thing, because honestly, the templates and the starting points that you get nowadays are so damn good. It's really about the care that you take to do the thing. Social media and social content is super huge, but the other thing is also the visibility through search engine optimization, or now some people are calling it like artificial intelligence engine optimization. Really, you're looking for terms and words and phrases and questions that people already are asking in your market, and building content that answers exactly those questions. Okay, so make sure that you are optimizing that website, make sure you are leveraging your social media strategically, and make sure that you understand at least the fundamentals of SEO. You don't have to go and hire a crazy expert. You don't have to build a crazy big blog from the early 2000s. You just need to understand that people are searching for what it is that you offer. And so then when you meet people in person or organically or through your network and they go and look you up, there's a congruence. That's really what you're after. Big move number 3, and this is how I have my big sales days without running a sale, is I have a seamless client journey. People can extend with me, people can renew with me, people can buy packages in advance and get an incentive when they do that, and they know that. And they know that because I designed the experience, and I tell people like, this is what it looks like to keep working with me. This is what happens when you stop working with me, what you get to keep, what you don't. All of that has been prepackaged and designed. So a couple of things to help make sure that you're getting a lot of referrals and a lot of retention. Number 1, great onboarding. Set expectations with your clients and then exceed them. Adopt a very client-centric approach. The biggest adjustment that a new coach has to make is that it really isn't about you. It's not about you being special or fancy or perfect. It's about your getting to their goals much faster because you helped. And then finally, use automation to help drive that engagement. And especially nowadays with AI, there's really no good excuse for letting your leads fall through the cracks and letting your clients fall through the floor. So this month, make sure you are nailing your value proposition, audit your online presence, and start just making one big move every week. One new move of how you're going to show up even stronger, and let those strengths stack. And then make sure that you're also taking a look at your client journey. The main thing is that like none of us became a coach because we wanted to spend all our time selling and marketing. And I've really found that when you work a little smarter, you don't have to work quite so hard. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to grab the goodies in the show notes, and we will see you in another episode.